Aloha. Good evening. This is Andrew Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona with Spiritual Image Productions on YouTube live. But that's besides the point. So anyhow, this is the first time I think I've ever done a YouTube live video. I have done other videos, but I don't know if this is the same or not. But anyhow, I'm just going with the flow, right? That's besides the point. So anyhow, I wanna I'm just going with it, right? So this is Andrew Aloha doing current event updates. Um, First of all, for starters, I want to go ahead and take a moment of silence to honor Robert Trump, who recently passed away, Andy King and Chaia King, who are the children of Larry King. They just passed away recently as well, and so I want to just take a moment to just acknowledge them and and just honor, just celebrate them. Moving on um, from planet Earth. I'm still playing around with this system because this is a new system. Facebook is so just not stable at all. They keep playing bullshit games, or their system is screwed up and they really need to work on it. But that's besides the point. So let me see. I'm just kind of just going with the flow, right? I don't know how well this is going to go, but I'm just going with it, right? All right. So anyhow, I want to take a moment of silence to celebrate and honor these people passing on and graduating and moving on to their next step, to their next lifetime, whatever that's going to be. But that's besides the point. So 1 minute, and then we'll be back and we'll talk. Well, there's definitely some stuff we got to talk about. I want to talk to you, buddy. That's besides the point. 1 minute. Here we go. So I don't know if that's exactly 1 minute or not, but we're just going with it, going with the flow, right? The next thing that I want to talk about, the California fires. Um, whatever you can do to help support um, blocking. Well, I don't want to say blocking, but to diminish those fires in California. There's several of them going on now. Um, what was it? San Lorenzo was one of the major ones. But I have some family up in California, Northern California, and they were getting a whiff of the fumes, the smoke coming up into their place. So hopefully that will stop soon. Um, I I don't know that there's any fires around here because it's been raining for like last two or 3 days. Earlier it rained. It didn't rain like amazing a lot, but it did rain enough um, to produce some puddles so kids can play in and whatever else. But that's besides the point. Um, so if you can put out some love healing prayers, um, support of light and love to all these people and that are having to deal with this, especially in California. And then also, if you can put out some love, light prayers, healing, support to all those people that are getting ready to get thrashed by the tropical storms called Laura and Marco. I didn't get a chance to go over that very, very well, but there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff happening, and that happens to be part of it. Um, so I don't know that right now they're in tropical mode, which means they aren't in hurricane mode, so it's not that bad. But still, you can never tell. It could easily turn into a hurricane, two hurricanes, and they were saying that this is historic because they have two tropical storms coming at the East Coast at the same time, which is I'm assuming they're saying that's never happened before. So it's kind of interesting that both these storms are just getting ready to crash. Maybe they'll crash with each other and cancel each other out, right? Why not? Why not? So now the next thing I want to and I meant to do some more research on this, but Trump versus Biden in this election that we're getting ready to hit or embark upon within the next few months, next few weeks, and it's not far away, but it's only August 23rd right now, and September, October, November. That's 3 months. A little bit over 3 months, and there's some wacky stuff. Oh my God, this world is really getting wacky. I don't know what's going on with, but Trump is assumably trying to block the USPS, United States Postal Service, from doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're making the now what I should have put it down, but let me see if I can find this guy. But the guy, the not the attorney general, but the postmaster general, or whatever he's called. Um, he and his wife apparently own some um, some companies that do mailings. They're private companies that mail. You can mail through, and to me, that's a conflict of interest. That dude shouldn't even be in there as a postmaster. He shouldn't even be there. So I don't know what him, and apparently both him and his wife both own companies that are in conflict of interest of the USPS. So that's a line of shit. That dude shouldn't even be there. So I don't know what's going on. And then they're dismantling, I don't know, systems to prevent the USPS from operating optimally. And so yesterday they amazingly enough, Congress was able to convene, and they voted against the USPS being revamped. So what was it, $20 billion, $25 billion? They voted to install that amount of money so that they can keep the post office from making any changes. So I don't know. Well, apparently they dismantled some of it already, and so they need to go back and fix all that. So, and I don't know that they're going to, but it is what it is. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is going in tomorrow morning to question this postmaster about what the hell he's doing. Like he shouldn't even be there. His businesses are in conflict of interest. Again, I'm saying that. I don't know how many times it needs to be said, but this guy needs to be his ass kicked out of there like yesterday. Like what the hell, man? So anyhow, um, I I um I didn't plan on talking about that guy, but and I don't remember his name is, but whoever the postmaster is, that dude needs to be out of there. They need to fire his ass and get somebody else that's not in conflict of interest with the USPS, big time, like yesterday. And his wife too needs to be kicked out of there too. So anyhow, um, I there that needs to be fixed, and like right away, because that's going to make a difference in terms of what's going to happen within the next 3 months for the voting. So, uh, you know, what's our country coming into, man? Where people are acting like third world people. Not that they're any less or better than we are, but a lot of times they don't. Those people don't. They act like kids, and that's what these people are acting like, teenagers, like kids, like grow up, like yesterday, right? So anyhow, um, and Biden, you know, people are wondering, you can't trust either of these guys, Trump or Biden. Biden, when he was in office, well, as a vice president, he set up some kind of thing for his kid to go and I can't remember what was going on, but the kid was running for was working for some company, and that company wasn't being very just, I think. So, and I don't remember all that. I should have went back over it, but you know, I don't think either of these guys can be trusted. Um, there's people that are saying that Biden's going to win. There's people saying that Trump's going to win. I From what last year, they were already predicting that Trump was going to win uh, at the get go. Um, so it's predicted that he's supposed to win. So if in fact he doesn't win, I believe, and I think I've already said that our history, um, our future, our future history, maybe I can call it that, is going to change. It's not going to be because there's a lot of time travelers. They all several of them said the same thing, that Trump was going to win. All of them said the same thing, and now Trump's going around, has been going around moping around. Oh, nobody likes me. Well, you need to love first, dude. That's the way that story goes. If you don't like you, then then of course other people aren't going to like you. Duh, that's the way that goes. So anyhow, it is what it is. To me personally, I could give a hoot about voting, because if I'm going to vote, I'm going to vote for me, for Andrew Aloha. There you go. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So thank you very much. I mean, I could probably do just as good of a job as leading our country as these guys could, or better. But that's besides the point. Who cares, right? So anyhow, the USPS changes that they voted yesterday to block the USPS from making any changes and staying the same, and giving them, I don't know, $20 billion, $25 billion. They're putting up that much money so that they can stop them from making any changes. That's beyond me, but that's besides the point. So now the last thing I want to talk about right now is defunding the police. Now, there's I believe it was in Jersey. They did that a few years ago, 7-8 years ago or so, and they had a big success. And then something happened for this year or last year. Something happened, and that all went to shit. Whatever they did went to shit. So and there's a lot of cities that are doing that. They're defunding the police, and I don't think it's a bad idea, but if the cities do this, they got to be willing to be really, really on top of it, because otherwise, if they don't figure out a way to handle the violence and whatever else is going on that police deal with every day, then what's going to happen? I was looking at this, thinking about this, and all of a sudden popped into my mind. If they don't figure out a good system to work with, which means they're probably going to have to bring in private corporations to police the areas, which could be dangerous, because then private companies can start taking over the city, and demanding people buy products. Who knows? I don't know what's all behind that. So that could be dangerous. But is it any less dangerous than the police right now? I don't know. It's undetermined, because I don't know that we've gotten to that stage yet. But that could happen, and you have to weigh it out. It might be cheaper for private companies to come in and take over and man the area. Now the other thing that could happen, and may actually happen, is, wow. I was watching some movies, and I'll tell you about them here in a little bit. And it hit me like a rock. The mafia and all these gangster organizations could come in and start taking over, just like back in the day, like what, in the 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever, when they had all these immigrants coming into town and relocating to the United States, and then all of a sudden all the mafias took over. And right now that could be one of those mafias could be the Russian mafia. So it's undetermined. I don't know. So I know that I experienced the Russian mob on Facebook. I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that the Russian mob has been coming in on Facebook and pulling some stunts. So I don't really feel comfortable about it, and I'm looking to take some steps to put this out there and deal with some stuff so that they can be dealt with properly. But I don't know that will even happen. So I don't know. It's hard to say. So and again, I'm almost 100% sure it's the Russian mob. I'm not totally 100%, but from what I've seen, the evidence I've gathered so far, it's pointing to the Russian mob. So this could be Italian mob, the Russian mob, the Mexican mob, Chinese mob. I don't know. Asian mob, Japanese mob. I don't know. So if police are defunded all over the place, then we may be going back to the 20s and 30s or whatever, where the mob, and who knows, are the KKK and the mob setting all this up purposefully so they can do that, so they can come in and take over the United States or the world? I don't know. It's hard to say, but it doesn't it is crossing my mind, and I wouldn't put it past them. So it's hard to, it's undetermined. So we'll see what happens. So anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and go into the movie channel. We're gonna let me see. Get rid of this. So I forgot to post this on my other page, but anyhow, I'll just work off this. Several movies, and this just goes to show, America is shit right now. I don't know that America is any different, any better than any third world country right now. I think America is at the level, it's stooping to the level of being a third world country right now. It's really that pathetic. And Americans should know better. We should know better. Trump says, "Oh, I'm gonna make America great again." And there's a lot of stuff that he's done that has been useful, but does it outweigh all the bullshit we've had to go through because of him? I don't know. I don't think so. But you know, if he's gonna if he's gonna win the next election, the next election, he's going to have to step up the program. He's going to have to become much more professional than he's ever been in his whole entire life, and get with the program like yesterday. And he's going to have to be user friendly, get along with all the boys and girls, and they need to play nice so they can resolve shit instead of create shit, right? That's what I say. So anyhow, with that in mind, the movies that I've watched in the last 2-3 weeks or whatever, not one of them, and in fact, there's some television series from Netflix, some new one. The what was it? Netflix comes out and they come up with all these TV series, which drives me nuts because you have to watch every one of them in order to get to the end of the movie. Like what? Whatever. But anyhow, the Umbrella Academy, they had the first two. What was it? Is this the second season? The first season was fine, but the second season is shit. They got all kinds of extra violence in there, and now they have to throw in gay shit in there. I don't have anything against gay people, but if they want to create movies or shows for gay people, then maybe they need to create them for them directly and say this is for gay people. But this was a show that wasn't gay to begin with. Now it is. That's what I say. But that's besides the point. So anyhow, the second season, I think I only watched one or two. I don't even think I watched. Did I watch? Yeah, I think I only watched two episodes from that. Oh no, I guess I watched a few of them. But anyhow, now it's gay. But that's besides the point. There was another show that they and this is one of the. I don't mind Christian movies either or shows, but to make it an excuse, and now they're literally going out of the way to not revive, but to save the girl and the leading star in that movie. Work It. They're going out of the way to save her just so she can discover Jesus. Well, again, if it's not seamless, who cares, right? nothing against Jesus or God, right, or spirituality, but come on. If when you put ego shit behind it, then it's a whole different story.
The president is creating a new brand.
The Space Force, I really liked the idea behind that show, but after a few seasons, I don't know. I just didn't feel it. I was just not. It was some of the stuff maybe was just getting stupid or something. I don't know. So screw it. So I stopped watching that, and that's the same with just about all the Netflix TV series. You know, they start at the beginning. That you got this excitement going on. You got this interesting stuff, and then it's like they get drunk and they get boring. And these guys that write these shows or whatever must be getting drunk or something. And now they're boring, and now they're bored. They're bored out of their minds writing these scripts because now they're just redundant and they have a hard time coming up with new shit, right? So anyhow, um, I didn't find, and those shows are from 2020 that I just talked about, and I couldn't even finish them. So they're like rated thumbs, one thumb up, and that's it, right? Because if I don't even make it to the end, see ya, out of here. That's what I say. Now, some of the shows that I've watched, and all these other shows are older movies, older movie. These are all older movies. What we're talking about is a show, but the first one was 2019. I gave it 2 thumbs up. A Buffalo with Zoe Deutch, Dutch, I guess, Judy Greer, Jermaine Fowler, Jay Courtney, and Noah Reed. Oh my God! Now, if you're a woman and you get into being an entrepreneur, that would and you're a salesperson or whatever, that's probably a good movie you should watch. Oh my God. They did a good job in writing putting together doing the script for that movie, because they put in some puns in there and some stuff that you would never a lot of people as sales reps would never think about, putting out there and just using for making a sale. So Zoe Dutch or Dooch, I want to say Dooch, but she she wants to go to Harvard, and she has all this stuff planned out in her mind about what she wants to do, and she's a hustler, right? She goes out and she's not afraid of working. She's not afraid of doing the hustle. So she goes out and scalps tickets for the I don't remember whatever Buffalo. I can't remember, but anyhow, she's out scalping teachers, so she gets caught and put in jail, right? And then she gets out, and she gets accepted to some school, Harvard or something, and she goes, well, how am I going to pay for this? So she gets out again and starts hustling again. So she ends up working for a debt company, a debt collecting company, and she's like, she kicks ass, right? She really she like ends up being like the best debt collector in the whole place. And what they're saying, I don't know it's true, but what they're insinuating and suggesting with this movie is that all debt collection agencies or companies are a bunch of shysters. They repeat, they'll collect on a debt, and then they'll collect again on that debt again, and they pull all kinds of shit to get their money. And so anyhow, it's a doggy dog world. And so Zoe in the very end ends up gathering all the debt collection agencies together, and they all say, oh, I did this, I screwed this person, and she gets it all on tape or whatever, right, recorded, and she busts them all, right. She busts herself as well, but that's besides the point. So anyhow, that was a very really funny movie. I thought it was funny. So No, Little Women, Big Cars. Now this was an off, like like off Broadway type of movie, type of thing. Not literally Broadway, but it came out in 2011. See, and this is what I'm saying. 2011, that I watched this movie, and and it was still, like I said, an off Broadway type of movie, and it was it was it was not a movie you would pick to watch, because you think, oh yeah, this is. But this was, whoever wrote the movie, I thought did a really good job because of capturing the reality of what moms, and this is a good movie for moms, and milfs, if you even want to call it that. But and I don't even know that I should even use that word, but anyhow, just divorced women or whatever, single women that are older. But this is a really good movie, and a good take in terms of what it's like to be married, or single, as an older person, like what, 30s, 40s, or whatever, and have kids and deal with the kids, and you go through all the PTA bullshit and all this and that, and just on a daily basis, they go, they go, and they capture a snapshot of what it's like to be a mom with kids in school, right? And they had, the dialogue is amazingly uh, real. It was stuff. It's stuff that you wouldn't. Some stupid writer would say just to bullshit, try to bullshit the audience, which and that's why they're having a problem right now, with doing movies this day and age, because all these writers just want to make money, whatever, right? They just want to they're just writing their scripts so they can turn them in to make some money. Whoopie doo, kiss my ass. That's what I say. I mean, what they when they were in college, that they were just a bunch of drug addicts and alcoholics, and now they're working for the movie industry, and writing all these stupid movies, and what's happening, there's like a lot of spaces in between. You go to one scene, and then the next scene, there's not a smooth transition, and you have a hard time understanding what the hell is going on, right? What like, well, and I'll tell you about it. One of the movies, um they one the girl that starred in it, Landing Up, with Stacey Madeline. She actually, I think, wrote the movie or co-produced or something. But anyhow, they go, and it's about this homeless girl, and they go through all this prostitution type of stuff, and just hustling, uh, just to make have a place to sleep for the night, right? So anyhow, towards the end of the movie, they kill this guy. What happens to him? They don't say, that's a serious crime, right? And so they don't even say, well, whoa, they don't even show what they did with the guy. They all of a sudden he just disappears, and she ends up with her man and live happily ever after. Whatever. What a lame movie. But anyhow, it's like that. So let me see, the next movie I want to talk about. And again, if you're a mom with kids, Little Women, Big Cars, came out in 2011 with Amy Yazbek, Julie Warner, Christy Swanson. Hasn't done a lot, but she's still around. Romy, Rosemont, Alexis, Denisoff, Antonio Sabato Jr., Krista Allen, and Ed Begley Jr. Most of them are no names except maybe Christy Swanson, but even she's like, hasn't been in a lot of movies. I don't think. I'm pretty sure. But they do a good job with uh, piecing and everything together, and just taking a real piece of slice of life of moms with kids and schools, right? So it's like that. Anyhow, Red, standing for Retired Extremely Dangerous, came out in 2010 with Bruce Willis, Mary Louise Parker, Morgan Freeman, Helen Mirren, John Malkovich, Richard Dreyfuss, Julian McMahon. Anyhow, Ernest Borgen. I don't know who all these people are, but they have Rebecca. I want to say Pigeon, but it's Pigeon or something. I don't know. So anyhow, Bruce Willis is a retired CIA operative, and then all of a sudden, some people at the top of the chain of the CIA, I believe, are all of a sudden want to go after him. They go after him and try to kill him, right? Because he's supposedly dangerous, right? So anyhow, Bruce Willis gets together with his crew, being Morgan Freeman, Helen Mirren, and John Malkovich, and then they get to the top of it, to the bottom of the what's going on, and they've got a new CIA and agent, and this woman who's now running the show, I believe, um, is the one that's trying to kill him or have him killed, and but she gets caught, and I think she gets killed at the end. I can't remember, but it's like that. That was a very intense movie, but it was funny too. It had some good comedy in there. Now, another good 2009, another good comedy movie that I just watched. I had never seen this movie before, called Imagine That. And Red, I hadn't seen. Actually, all these shows I hadn't seen except for Dennis the Menace, I think. So anyhow, Eddie Murphy, Yara Shahidi, Thomas Hayden Church, Martin Sheen, Ronnie Cox, Nicole Ari Parker. So Eddie Murphy is divorced with his wife, and that was Yara Shahidi. And so anyhow, he gets the daughter every maybe that was Yara Shahidi, but anyhow, he gets the daughter every other week or whatever. They share the caring of the kid, and he's got all his biz going on, and the kid turns out to be a psychic, right? A psychic medium is what their suggestion, or what they're working with. So anyhow, they he goes she goes to his house, and she's got this little from I want to say Peanuts. No, come on. Wow, it's been a long time since I watched one of those cartoons. Um, Anyhow, you probably know what I'm talking about, but I don't know what I'm talking about, or do I? But that's besides the point. So anyhow, that cartoon it was like Linus in that cartoon, I believe that's his name, who has the blanket, and he takes away the blanket. It's time to let go of the blanket. Ah! She just starts screaming. Ah! Right? Oh my God! What a shriek! So he gives her the blanket back. So come to find out that this girl is a psychic, and she talks to these princesses and this queen, and they tell her to tell her dad, Eddie Murphy, that these companies are going to be kissing with a fish and a turtle or something. They're going to be kissing, so they're going to be uniting or whatever, and all this stuff, all this predictions, and all of a sudden it comes true. And then his boss is going, Eddie Murphy's boss is going, "How did you know that?" Well, so anyhow, it's interesting because Eddie Murphy gets involved into his daughter's fantasy world, so-called fantasy world, which turns out to be, um, she turns out to make all these predictions, and all this stuff happens, right? So anyhow, the old man, who is it, Martin Sheen? I can't, or is it Thomas Hayden Church? One of them guys is gonna retire, And so him and who is it? Ronnie Cox? Oh, maybe it's Tom. Anyhow, him and he's got this competition. This other guy that's an Indian. He's supposedly an Indian, and they come to find out he's full of shit. He's not even an Indian, but he has all these practices for Native American, for Native American stuff going on, and so anyhow, at the very end, Eddie Murphy ends up winning the spot for that company for handling the West Coast or whatever it was. So there's a lot of funny stuff in there. Again, a lot of fantasy stuff, but you have to think where does fantasy and reality draw the line? Where do you draw the line between fantasy and reality? And yet all this little girl was getting information from these princes and this queen, and they're all coming true. Yet Eddie Murphy's like, he's so like anal retentive, and everything's like legit, logical, and he has to get out of the logical in order to get into the fantasy. And so they go on this journey of encountering the princesses and the queen, and to get all the information. So that's the only way that they're gonna trust him is for him to do all this dancing, all this, I don't know, in and out of caves and all. I don't know. It was just a very interesting movie. Mr. Deeds came out in 2002 with Adam Sandler, Winona Ryder, Peter Gallagher, Eric Avari, John Turturro, Steve Buscemi, and John McEnroe. Okay, fine, whatever. So anyhow, 2002, Adam Sandler is like this. He's in a family of wealthy people, but he doesn't realize it or understand that, because he's busy running a pizza place or some little restaurant in some mountain hick place, right? So anyhow, he goes there and he's running this place, and all of a sudden one of his uncles dies, who's really wealthy, has all these companies, all this stuff, like $40 billion that he inherits, like right there on the spot, right? Oh, that's a little chunk of change. So anyhow, he inherits all this money, and so the lawyer, I think the lawyer and this other guy, that's now a stand-in for the company until they get Adam Sandler to run in the company. So, of course, they're gonna shyster him, and so they come in and talk to him and tell him, hey, you just inherited $40 million and all these companies, blah blah blah. So that he goes into the city and goes through this mirage of events, and of course he runs into Winona Ryder, who's a newspaper writer, and so they him and her and one of her friends set up a scheme so that because Adam Sandler likes to be the hero, so they set up this scheme that her purse is being robbed, and then the friend grabs the purse and takes off running. Well, all of a sudden Adam just starts running after this guy and beats the shit out of him. Oh my God, it's kind of violent, but that's besides the point. So anyhow, Peter Gallagher and Eric Avari, I think, draw up the paperwork, and something happens. I can't remember what happened, but something happens. He just goes, screw it. I don't want the money. You just give it away to a charity. So he walks away from $40 billion. Anyhow, whatever. So he goes back to his restaurant. His little restaurant is running that, and Winona Ryder chases him back. Cause first of all, she was just trying to get a story, and then all of a sudden she finds herself falling in love with him. So it's a romance comedy movie. But so anyhow, he saves her. She falls into this ice thing, and there's like a lake, and it's all iced up, and she falls into there, and he goes and saves her, and they live happily ever after. Okay, it's like that. 1994. Number again. This is two thumbs up. IQ, a movie called IQ. This is 1994, people, and this was actually a good movie for Tim Robbins and Meg Ryan, and even Walter Matthau, who was oh my God, why can't I remember that? All right, hang on a second. Einstein, Albert Einstein. He was Albert Einstein in the movie, and and Meg Ryan is his niece, and she's gonna marry this other geek. That again, Tim Robbins, Meg Ryan, Walter Matthau, Lou Jacoby, Gene Sachs, Joseph Mager, Stephen Fry, Tony Shalhoub, Frank Wally, Charles Durning, Keen. Come on, Keen Curtis and Greg German. So anyhow, um, Meg Ryan is like this rich. I don't know if she works at the school, a nearby college or whatever. I think she works at the at the college, nearby college. And Tim Robbins is a mechanic, right? And so Einstein likes Tim Robbins, right? And this other schmuck, he doesn't like him. So him and his buddies who meet together all the time, they get together and set Tim Robbins up with Meg Ryan. They make him to be of scholars. You know, he all of a sudden he discovers this theory, a relativity theory, theory or something like that. Anyhow, so they make him an Einstein, right? Tim Robbins an Einstein, and so Meg Ryan falls for him, and they start getting together and all this stuff. So anyhow, it was there's some funny stuff. That was a really interesting movie just to see Albert Einstein in romance, right? You don't ever hear about him being involved in romance, but that's the other one. So anyhow, now the by far the funniest of all the movies that I've watched, probably so far, but out of this group, um, 1993, Dennis the Menace. Oh my God, Walter Matthau, Mason Gamble, Joan Plowright, Leah Thompson, Christopher Lloyd. Uh, you know, if you never watched Dennis the Menace, that's a must see for any kid and their parent, and maybe their brothers and sisters too. I don't know, but oh my God, and it's it's so funny. This kid, what 10-year old kid? I can't remember how old he is. 6-year-old kid, I think 6-year-old. But anyhow, he's so innocent and all this shit just comes down the pike, and oh my God, and Dennis and Walter Matthau just is scared of him, right? I'm scared of a little kid. What? How does that happen? No, no. He tells Joan Plowright, Plowright, don't. I'm not home. I'm going to bed. And here comes Dennis. Hello, Mister Joe Schmo. I can't remember what his name is, but anyhow, he takes a slingshot and slingshots an aspirin into his mouth because he's sick and he wants to help him so he won't be sick anymore. Oh my God. Anyhow, there's a whole barrel of laughs. I just couldn't stop laughing. It was so funny, so humorous that this little kid and this big older guy, Walter Matthau, how they get along, and somehow the dentist at the very end, he ends up with Christopher Lloyd, who comes into town, and he's a robber, right? So Christopher Lloyd ties him up, and all this stuff happens, and with Christopher Lloyd as well, right? And so finally, so now he's missing. Dennis is missing, and everybody, the whole neighborhood, the police, everybody's looking for him. And Walter's like feeling guilty. Oh, I should have watched that kid. Blah blah blah. So anyhow, they finally Dennis the Menace comes in with Christopher Lloyd, and and Walter Matthau is like, oh yay! He's all happy that he's finally home. Anyhow, 1989, Shido. Now this movie I hadn't watched either. Shido with Meryl Streep, Roseanne Barr, Ed Begley Jr., and Sylvia Miles. Now, I have a hard time wrapping my head around Meryl Streep in this movie because I don't know that it was a good movie for her, but anyhow, she made the most of it. And Roseanne Barr is the one that's the she devil. She's a wife, and then Ed Begley Jr. is the husband, and he's out screwing around with her. And Meryl Streep is a writer. He's screwing around with Meryl Streep, and so anyhow, so um, Roseanne Barr, she devil, she goes out of her way to destroy her husband who leaves her for Meryl Streep. Wrong move because he just got the shit kicked out of him. I think that's a good phrase, but that's beside the point. Anyhow, Mystic Pizza. Now, this was a movie in 1988. Again, two thumbs up. Annabeth Gish, Julia Roberts, Lily Taylor, Conchetta Farrell, Vincent Philip, D'Onofrio. Matt Damon was in this movie. I don't know if that was his first movie or not, but I think it was somewhere along those lines. William R. Moses and Adam Stork. Um, I this was another romance comedy. Cat, Daisy, and JoJo work in this pizza place, right? With the woman that runs the place. I can't remember what her name is, but anyhow, I think it was Conchata Farrell. But anyhow, um, they work in this pizza joint, and it's almost like one of those. It's like Days of Our Lives when a soap. It's almost like a soap opera type of thing, but it's a movie version. And what was it? What I think JoJo at the beginning it starts. She's she's getting married, and all of a sudden she passes out, and blows off the wedding, right? Because she it's too much for her, too much stress. She doesn't want to get married. So anyhow, Julia Roberts has this affair with this rich guy, and then Kat. I don't know if she's the older of the trio or not, but she has she's babysitting for this guy, a married guy, and the wife is in some other state or whatever, and she eventually comes back, but I don't remember if they had a very steamy date. I think I don't know if that's you can call it that, but they got together, and he's got the hots for her, but they the wife comes finally makes it to the house, and she just had babysitter, and she's all upset and pissed off, and Daisy calms her down, and meantime at the very end they all end up at one of the I don't remember. There was a wedding going on. I want to say it was JoJo's wedding, but I can't remember. Anyhow, they um they end up just hanging out with each other at the very end. So it was a cute. It was a better a movie than I thought. I thought it was gonna be lame and boring or whatever, but it was definitely better. Oh my God, Julia Roberts, she can get pissed, right? But that's his point. So, anyhow, 1984, Top Gun, Tom Cruise, Kelly McGillis, Val Kilmer, Anthony Edwards, Tom Skerritt, Michael Ironside, Megan Ryan, and Tim Robbins again. I didn't even realize that. I didn't even think about that. So anyhow, um, they're both in the same movie, but I think most people have seen Top Gun. Tom Cruise is a hot shot, and him and Goose are pilot buddies, and so they they have the Tomcat F-14. They're doing this fighting, and then all of a sudden Tom Cruise comes up and flips the jet, and he's right over the enemy jet, and they take a picture of him, and then he flips them off, right? He flips out the other enemy pilot, right? And they take a picture, and they it's said that the Tomcat can't even come close to being able to do that maneuver because no one's ever done it until now, until Tom Cruise and Goose did it. So that gets him into an elite pilot school. I believe it's out in San Diego, and they still have it. Um, and so all these pilots, fresh pilots out of the Navy, come out, and they're wait, is it? I want to say San Diego because that's where the Navy is. That's one of a major Navy base is. But I also want to say Nevada. Because they have they have plenty of room to fly. So anyhow, Top Gun is the top pilots, Navy pilots in the world, and they're the only one. They're the ones that make it into this thing. And so anyhow, Tom Cruise and Goose during the training end up in an accident, and Goose gets killed. And so now he's getting like he's got stage fright, right, type of thing. So and anyhow, in the meantime, he gets involved with the instructor Kelly McGillis, who I don't know how long ago, within the last few months, last few years, I can't remember, but just got married to a woman, so she's lesbian in real life. That's his husband. So that was interesting, and that must be interesting for Tom Cruise to reflect upon this movie, and doing all these romance scenes, knowing that now she's come out of the closet and she's lesbian. So that's profound. I don't know that would matter to him. It shouldn't, but it might have an effect on him. But that's why I don't know. So anyhow, they end up going to some kind of a battle again, and Tom Cruise finally gets his head out of his butt and kicks into gear and starts kicking ass. But that's the other part. And incidentally, they're coming out with Top Gun. They were supposed to come out with a new Top Gun this year in June. I don't know that it's going to be any better or not than this Top Gun, 1984 version. But I think it's gonna give it a run for its money. It's not going to come out till next summer instead. So they pushed it back to next summer, and I'd be interested to see it. I definitely, without a doubt. So let me see what kind of time frame we got going on. All right, so let's just whiz through the 1.5 thumbs up movies. 2020. Now this was an interesting movie, but there was, again, they have, when you watch a movie that's based on true events, the details are so much more profound and acute. Details that they miss a lot of details that they could have put in there and made it more realistic, and at least made it more interesting. So and that was the same. That was the thing with this movie, Project Power. People, and do you take the red pill or the blue pill? But it's not a red or blue anymore. It's gold, some kind of iridescent gold color. You twist it and you take it, and all of a sudden you just get these superhuman hero powers for 5 minutes. Whoopie doo! And then if your system setup, your body doesn't agree with all that, then you end up dying right afterwards. So anyhow, that was what that was all about. Basically, there was a lot of Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Dominic Fishback. It was interesting, but again, it could have been better. That's the point. A lot of intensity, action, um, violence. I think maybe. So if you can handle that, then that might be a movie to watch. 2019, 1.5 thumbs up. Anna, Andy Garcia, Daphne Key, Jeannie Triplehorn, Luna, Lauren Valles, and Ramon Franco. Franco. So anyhow, um, that was a good movie for Andy Garcia. Connecting with kids, and he's not a kid. And this little girl who's a little, um, I want to say refugee, but I think it's a little bit different than a refugee. She Her mom gets arrested and gets put in jail, and then the boyfriend that lives with them is a real prick, and she doesn't want to go home, so she ends up being ends up being homeless. So Andy Garcia kind of adopts her and tries to take her to her dad, and all they go through all this mirage, and she's just pretty. She's a hustler. It's like that other movie that I watched earlier, Buff Matt, except of what's her name, Zoe Deutch. So anyhow, there's some funny stuff, and they end up at this church, and she ends up pretending that she's saved and healed by God. Oh my God! And they set up the scam, and they make all this funny. Um, if you have a little kid that you want to watch it with, son or daughter or whatever, then that might be a good movie to watch for them. 2018, Gam Cam Girl. Um, this had an interesting plot. Roger Juan, Ellie Patricios, Danny Sabka. Um, Roger Juan is the main lead, and he's like Asian, and he ends up in jail because he was doing some kind of computer fraud thing or something. And so anyhow, he gets out and he's living with his mom, and he goes to this. He somehow ends up meeting, I believe, Danny Sadka. Anyhow, she's a comedian, and or maybe it was Ellie Patricios. Anyhow, he ends up meeting this girl, and she's a comedian, but she's like a starving comedian, right? And so anyhow, he ends up going home with her, and he goes down on her, right? He just like, and she's like totally getting off, right? And at the time, he's got one of those ankle bracelets in case they know, monitor, so they know where he's at. And he's trying to take off her panties and he's trying to get his pants off, and it sets off the alarm, right? Sets off the alarm, and so here comes the police, knock 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 knock, and they break in, and the girl is going, she's like totally getting off, right? And um and so anyhow, it's pretty funny. And so in the meantime, the FBI, I believe, is trying to catch this other woman who's in a different country, I think Russia or something like that, and she's doing some kind of masturbation on the internet and putting it out there to all these people. So they're trying to catch her, and somehow the woman that's doing this masturbation, when she was younger, ended up she ended up meeting or encountering the Asian guy and having the hots for him. So anyhow, she somehow uh, communicates or transponds uh, what you call it, beep, 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 Morse code, um, to through the internet while she's doing this, and they figure out that she's calling the Roger Wan, the Asian guy, and she wants him. So anyhow, the FBI cooperate and they go, oh, well, we need to bring you in, and we're gonna, if you help us find this girl and get her, then we'll drop everything and we'll leave it at that. So he does. He goes and meets her, and she wants to rob a bank. Oh, that's why he was put in jail, because he initially robbed a bank, but that's part. So or tried to rob a bank, but he got caught. So anyhow, so she goes, I want to rob this bank in China or something like that, and we're gonna rob it of so and so amount, and then you'll get a cut out of it too. So he helps her, and they do. They rob this bank, and they supposedly get away with it, right? So and then he ends up back home with his mom because she's sick or something, and he takes care of her, and then here comes a van with all the money with his cut. So and then she comes back in the picture, and they live happily ever after. Okay, fine, whatever. So 2017, Chokeslam, a wrestling movie. If you like wrestling, and Amanda Crew, who's the female lead, she's like she should she should be in anger management, man. She just like beats up everybody, right? With Chris Marquette, Michael Eklund, Neil Matter, Heffern. Anyhow, she comes. They have a high school reunion, and Chris and Amanda went to the same school, and apparently he at the end of school, at the end of their senior year, he asked her to marry her, and she goes no. Oh man. So he like, that was a huge episode for him, and so she takes off, becomes this famous um, uh, wrestler, and he ends up staying home and doing these petty jobs or whatever. So anyhow, they hook up, and they um, set up some kind of a retirement um, wrestling match there in town, um, so that she can retire and then do something else. So anyhow, it's interesting stuff. Oh my God, I don't know how violent it was, but it was violent enough. If you don't like violent movies, that's probably not a good movie for you to watch. So anyhow, The Family. I just watched that yesterday, today. I guess finished it up today. 2013 with Robert De Niro, Michelle Pfeiffer, Tommy Lee Jones, Deanna Agron, and John DeLeo. The mob, and who was it? Martin Scorsese, direct or produced, executive, or he co-produced it or produced it, helped produce it, which was interesting. But again, there's pieces that just didn't add up. Um, there's not a smooth transition all the way through. There was there was some spacey shit in there that you could have been better. So anyhow, Robert De Niro, Michelle Pfeiffer, Tommy Lee Jones, Diana Agron, and John DeLeo. Um, this mob or mafia family goes into hiding in France, I believe, and they've been going from place to place because they keep getting caught, and they're in the witness protection program, and so sure enough they get caught, and man, and here comes all these gangsters. I don't know, about six, seven, eight of them or whatever, um, and they have this big, huge shootout. Oh my God, interesting shootout. But that's what. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Very intense, very violent, and but um, interesting to see that scenario I think maybe is a good point of reference um, with a mobster, in that position. But that's just that one. 2013 again, The Hangover Part 3. I don't know if you've seen Part 1 or Part 2. I haven't seen Part 2, but because I don't know how you say your name, dude. Justin Bartha, Mike Epps, and Jeffrey Tamer. Um, I don't know that the first one was better than this one, but it was pretty close. They were pretty close. One of the biggest things that I thought was disgusting and pathetic is that they show this giraffe on the back of his trailer, and all of a sudden they come to this overpass, this bridge, and the head gets cut off. Oh man, come on! They had some similar shit in there that was kind of stupid, but there was also some really good funny stuff in there. Um, who was it? I can't remember. What's his name? Ken Jeong escapes from prison. He was put in prison from the last time, um, and some whatever is looking for him, and he finds out he escapes prison. So and they find the guys, Bradley Cooper, Ed Helms, Zach, and Justin Barton. They find them um, on the road, on the freeway. Somehow they encounter them, and they run them over and then push them off the road and wreck their car, and they tie him up, and they take one of the guys. I think it was Justin Bartha. They took him as a hostage, as collateral, to get all of their gold back. And in the meantime, Ken Jeong has all the gold, and well, no, he has half the gold, and then they go to John Goodman's house and get the rest of the gold, unbeknownst to the Bradley Cooper and Ed and Zach. And they steal that gold. They're stealing the first half, but it's the second half, and so now they have all the gold. And so at the very end, Ken wants to give him some of the gold and be friends, but Zach goes, "No way, dude, we're done with you." And so it is what it is, right? 2011, Horrible Bosses with Jason Bateman, Charlie Day, Jason Sudeikis, Jennifer Aniston, Colin Farrell, Kevin Spacey, Donald Sutherland, Jamie Foxx, Julie Bowen, Lindsay Sloan, and Meghan Markle was in this movie. So it was a short part as some kind of delivery driver or something like that, delivering mail or whatever. So anyhow, very oh my god, that movie was really strange, but that was an interesting part for Jennifer Aniston, who is this dentist, and they make her out to be this nympho, right? She wants to get into the pants of Charlie Day, I believe, and who's her assistant. And in the meantime, Charlie Day had somehow ended up in jail for some kind of pedophile thing, and I don't know. They brought in some issues that I thought were strange, and the way they brought him in, I think maybe is a good point. But and Colin Farrell, oh my God, he's the owner, or actually his dad owns this company, and his dad dies, and so now he takes over the company, and he's like going out and doing all this coke and screwing all these women and whatever, all this stuff. In the meantime, Kevin Spacey is Jason Bateman's boss in this company. I can't remember if it was a lawyer company or whatever, but anyhow, um, somehow the Jason Bateman, Charlie Day, and Jason Sudeikis get pissed off at their bosses, who are Jennifer Aniston, Colin Farrell, and Kevin Spacey. They're like pissed off at them, and all of a sudden they're just joking around. Well, we need to kill him, and then all of a sudden, yeah, we really need to kill him. so anyhow, I can't remember all of it, but it was a mirage of events that took place, and very interesting stuff. Again, it's somewhat violent, so if you like violent movies, you may not want to watch it. But those bosses got what they deserved. Maybe, I don't know. You figure it out. 2004, Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights, Romula Garia, Diego Luna, Jason or not, John Slattery, Cell Award. I think it's supposed to be Cell Award. I don't know why how I got War in there. Micah Baroom, January Jones. Very interesting movie. It was actually based on true events. In I want to say Colombia. No, anyhow, some foreign place. And Rome. Diego. No. Who was it? Romola. I what? Time out. I gotta go back and look at this. Time out. Anyhow, this family moves to this foreign place, and come to find out that the parents are actually here it is, are actually dancers. And so anyhow, um, yeah, you hear that? Some salsa there now. Why not? I don't know why. Okay, let's go like this. Havana Nights. That should give it away, right? No. Halloween costumes. What the hell is going on? Let's try this again. But anyhow, yeah, they moved to Cuba. That's right. Um, Romola. That's the name of the girl. Anyhow, the lead actress. Um, so this family moves to Cuba, and they have this ongoing civil war going on, or something like that. And so the rich people don't hang out with the poor people because it's a taboo, because they got have this all this bullshit going on. So anyhow, somehow Romola gets involved with Diego, and they start practicing dancing, and she has a hard time letting go. She's like totally what's the word? Tense, right? So so finally they go to the beach and they hang out, and finally she lets go, and becomes free spirited. I think is a good word. So anyhow, they enter this contest. So because Diego wants to go to the United States and move there, so he can get out of all this bullshit or whatever. I think so. Anyhow, um, something happens. They do the dance contest at the very end, and the place is raided right when right during their dance that they're supposed to be doing. It's raided, and everything is the dance competition ends, and the whole war thing ends too at the same time. So they live happily ever after. So it's like that, right? National security. Oh my God. No, this came out in 2003. Again, 1.5 thumbs up. National security. Martin Lawrence, Steve Zahn, Eric Roberts, Bill. Uh, Martin Lawrence goes into the police academy, and he gets kicked out because he does some stupid shit, right? And then Steve's on, and he ends up in jail. So I believe, so I can't remember for what reason, but anyhow, um, he ends up becoming a security officer. They're both security officers at the same company now. So anyhow, they end up looking for this guy or whatever. I don't know. They want to solve this case of all this shit going on. So they get together and they go through all this. And there was some real stupid shit in there that, you know, it was, did they really need it in the movie? I don't know. But anyhow, at the very end, they end up becoming real cops because they catch the bad guys. So that's what's point. Again, one thumb up. Drunk Parents, Alec Baldwin, Selma Hayek, Gaffigan, Ben Platt, Michelle Biantamalia. Came out 2018. Um, you know, you can watch it if you want, but it was stupid. Uh, the girl, their daughter goes, Alec Baldwin and Selma Hayek's daughter goes to college, so they end up watching the house next door, and they're behind on payments because he loses his job. I can't remember what happened, but anyhow, they go through all this stupid shit to try to make some money, including renting out the house next door and renting out their house and all this other stuff. So it there was some funny stuff in there, but overall it was just stupid. Landing Up, again, 2016 report. Stacy Matlin, Adina Hines, Dove Typhonbeck, and Jay DeYonker. Again, about this homeless girl, Stacy Matlin, and her buddy, Adina Hines. They're both homeless, and they're trying to make enough money to get an apartment, and it costs like, you know, $10,000 to get in an apartment. Oh man, really? Whatever. So there was some stupid stuff. And then Virgin Alexander came out in 2012. Rick Fogno, Paige Howard, Micah Barum, about this guy that's supposedly the virgin. I started it, and it was so stupid even at the beginning that a lot of movies they'll at least keep it together and have some interesting stuff at the beginning, towards the middle of the movie, and then after that, it whimpers out, and they then all kinds of bullshit. They throw in all kinds of bullshit, and then a lot of times they'll end the movie really quick. Everything's solved within five minutes, and it's done, and the movie's over. Whatever. So, and this movie didn't even get started in a good way. So I just didn't even bother. But that's what's up. Anyhow, I want to thank all of you for stopping by. Have a Goddess week, and hopefully everything will be straightened out with USPS. I don't know. We'll see. And I don't know if you and people. Today I joined a Zoom meeting, and all of a sudden they got on a tangent about, talking about masks. Oh, I'm not going to wear my mask. I'm just going to be rebellious. Whatever, it's not about you. It's about everybody, and that's the thing about the mask. You wear the mask for everybody's sake, not just for yours, and that's pretty selfish and pretty egotistical, and what a line of shit. But anyhow. Have a Goddess week. Be the love that you are, always have been, and always will be. Aloha. End.